Welcome to Chat Cinema Podcast. I'm here with Zineb Oukach. Wait, how do I pronounce your last name? I always get that.
Zineb Oukach.
Zineb Oukach, got it. And I just practiced it 100 times. I forgot it. Sorry about that. And we're here to talk about her short film, Interruption. Let's get started. You picked a heck of a subject matter for your debut film. You want to tell us about that and why?
Well, I mean, I've always been attracted to political movies and engaged movies. That's something that I gravitated um, towards. And I always read the paper and I always say, oh my God, there's 50 films that can be made just by reading the newspaper. And it, and I read this story, many stories, in fact, that about journalists around Europe, like Eastern Europe, but also North Africa and a little bit everywhere, where abortion is banned or illegal. And this story happens, many stories like that, and I just got really inspired. And it's inspiring how someone can use the law to silence a journalist or silence a voice that is talking and saying things like what's wrong with the power, or what's wrong with the country. And it's a dangerous thing. But when I wrote the script back in 2019, and for a friend of mine to direct, but she backed up from the film because she was a little bit concerned about the backlash she might get back home. So when I saw the overturn of Roe v. Wade in 2022, I really felt compelled to jump in and make this film happen.
Well, I wanted to ask you this. When you were shaping the film, when you were making the film, shaping it, were you a little nervous about all the commentaries you were making? You were political, you were making a social statement commentary, you were making gender commentary, for example. So that you had a lot to say in a short film. Were you a little nervous about that? I mean,
no, I'm not. I wasn't nervous because it's a fiction, first of all. But I guess it's more as like, if I don't tell the story, then what's gonna happen to us as a community, as a people, but also to me as an individual. If I don't speak up, oftentimes I have this thing that I get really frustrated, and my throats get really tied up if I don't speak up. So it was very important for me to tell stories, because when I see pain wrongly done, you sometimes you have to face whatever fears, whatever nervousness, whatever, and be brave and be courageous. And there's a lot of people, thank God, who are protecting humanity and who are trying to show us the direction where we should keep, advancing as a humanity. So it was more like that was the kind of thoughts but feelings that I had.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let's talk about Sarah. She was very resolute. She wanted to have this procedure done. She wasn't remorseful or repentant at all. Is that the standard now in movies? I mean, but whereas before there used to be a lot of guilt and drama about having the procedure, but now it doesn't. I guess in the post Roe versus Wade, female characters seem to be more direct about it.
That is a very good question. That is very, very good question. It was a short film, so I couldn't show the consequences, the guilt, the emotions, the whatever emotions Sarah was going through. Of course, there is like, I think that we are humans, therefore we feel things, whatever, when we do a procedure, and especially a procedure like this. But that is the point of the film. Like, women are already battling personal emotions that they have to deal with themselves. So instead of allowing them and creating a medical care, mental care, anything, like really a medical care, to accompany, to accompany, a woman
Accompany the
throughout,
woman.
yeah, throughout the abortion procedure. We are creating laws that restrict women. We still, nothing has changed really. We still, you know we're still in the 50s and the 40s, and nothing really has changed. Like, we should be now talking, like you said, talking about how can we, be there for women going through this procedure. But we still are talking about abortion bans and not having women to choose. So that's one. But also, like I said, it's a short film. But thirdly, there is a moment at the clinic when Sarah is sitting and she has this reflective time with herself and going through a little emotional state right before the procedure. And the policeman is looking at her, but obviously she doesn't know. But there is that moment where, okay, but Sarah faces two things: being a single mother, not married, in a patriarchal society, but mostly in a Muslim Arab society where relationship outside of marriage are illegal also and forbidden. So she faces either that, if she decides to carry on with her pregnancy, or the pain of going through an abortion. And both of those cases, she is an outlaw. She is doing an illegal action. So it's a survival mode where she is. So she, oftentimes when we are surviving, we suppress our feelings and emotions and what's going on, but it's very unhealthy. Like, then we have a dysfunctional being just functioning as they can. Like,
They're in
does it
survival mode. Exactly.
okay, does it make sense what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Exactly. Completely. Like this. They're in survival mode. Exactly. Yes. You're very articulate about that. Going to what you were saying about this patriarchal society, the double standard. There's one scene, I don't want to give it away, where the policeman says, "Here, I'm done." I'm sure you know the scene I'm talking about. And he just walks away.
And
Let's,
he walks away. Yes.
yeah, and the double standard. Oh, it's not my problem. Oh,
Yes.
see what I mean? And he still just goes about his business.
Yeah.
You want to talk about? Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So where can I start? Well, first of all, it's the first. Not oftentimes, but since the Victorian era, or since for a very long time, abortion was taboo. So we haven't lifted that taboo, from the procedure, from a healthcare, medical care procedure. So man never felt implicated. It's a woman's business. Like, the going to a gynecologist, it's the woman's business, which is okay. But when you conceive, it's not just a woman, it's two people. And he often, like, I wanted to, oftentimes, especially I can talk from my culture, but man just put everything on women's shoulder. You take care of the kids, you take care of your health care. If you want to have an abortion, you take care of that. They're not gonna like be supportive, and God forbid they're gonna come like, it is a double standard. But the question is like, how can we change that? Like how long do we have to go through this to make, to really revert the patriarchal society values power, oppression, to just a more, I'm not even saying equal, because I don't know if we will ever have that, because sometimes I hear comments in the street or people talking, and it's still very rooted, even if you are a modern man and modern person and sophisticated and etc., whatever terminology you want to attribute to yourself, you still have that little bit of patriarchy in you, especially when it comes to women. So yeah, it is, we are women suffers, women are in pain. And actually this morning I was just seeing on my Alexa in the kitchen that Texas, Alexa, stop. Sorry.
Scary tech listening in.
Yeah, scary, very scary. But I was just seeing that Texas actually forbid an abortion for Kate Cox, I believe it's her name. She is 20 weeks pregnant, and her fetus has a genetic malformation.
Mhm.
So they did not, they forbid her to get an abortion. So she is forced to carry that pregnancy and have a sick baby.
But can she leave the state? I don't know the law in Texas. You leave the state, can they still prosecute you? Or I don't know.
Yeah, I think they can. But yeah, I think they can. But not everyone can leave the
Right.
state. Not everyone can afford that.
Right, of course.
Yes, there is a double standard. I mean, she has to carry that. And where is the man? He doesn't, I'm sure her partner is with her, but oftentimes, yes, like there's a double standard.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, the lead character in the movie was a bit, here he is representing this, but then he had that female partner or that female colleague, and she was very tough.
Yeah.
I think, were you trying to show a contrast between the two of them or something?
No, I wasn't trying to show a contrast. I was really trying to talk about where I come from. Oftentimes, I see that women can be more aggressive and more than men. And I was explaining this actually to a friend the other day. When a system is very discriminatory or racist or patriarch, when the people who created that system they leave, it doesn't matter who replaced. It can be a woman or a man. It doesn't matter who replaced the person who was, the person who will apply what's been the law, the policies within that system. And when it's a woman, she's going to be actually more aggressive, especially when she's a policewoman and working in a public service, because she is a woman. So she has to work harder to prove to her male friend that she can do it.
Okay.
That she can be a cop, that she can be a strict judge, that she can be a tough lawyer. Like she has to have those she has to have those values to prove, to conserve her position and her job. And I often see that. So that is why it wasn't really to compare the two, but it's oftentimes, we see it also here in the US, like when a female judge condemn abortion. I mean, she should know, she's a woman. She will maybe have more empathy. But no, she has to prove to her colleagues, to her male colleagues, that you guys hired me or you voted for me to be here. I'm gonna also show you and do the job like a man.
I understand. Okay. If you had to make a headline about your film, one big headline for people to see, what would the headline say?
To be continued.
Okay. Well, you gave me a good headline.
Oh, what is that? I would say, just, have more empathy and feel women's pain, and Roe v. Wade really impacted the world, the overturn. So abortion is worldwide. Abortion, that, it's an issue that is on the table. It's worldwide, and it's been on the table for so long.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
also, sorry.
No, please finish.
And also, Roe v. Wade was not for women. It was literally a middle ground.
Mm.
It had a certain limit on the number of weeks you could have that abortion. It wasn't like, oh, well, it was really like the middle ground.
Well, as an American, I never really understood why Roe versus Wade was so political and such a hot button issue for such a long time. Considering all the other problems in America, I mean, the deindustrialization, people don't have enough money, affordable healthcare, education, et cetera, we can go on, the list is long. This topic was always there for some reason. I just never quite understood that. I go, wow, I mean, just always, people always throwing gasoline on this fire. And I go, is this it? I always thought it was a bit strange for some reason. That's, from my male perspective. I never quite understood why.
So you said very, very interesting things. And thank you. Thank you for sharing that you never, and thank you. So when we talk about the economy, which the cop has, that he couldn't afford another
Exactly.
child. Well, when around the world, but let's take United States.
Mm-hmm.
For a couple, for a single mom or single dad, two people, married people, not married, like, to have a child is so expensive.
Yes.
To have another child, that can literally push them a step towards poverty.
Yeah, being homeless, exactly.
And that is the abortion, to organize, plan your pregnancies, to use the advanced of medicine to plan your pregnancy is powerful. Mm-hmm. To a woman, to a couple, because okay, I don't want to get pregnant now, I want to go to school, then after school I want to get a job, I want to get a certain point in my career, and then I can have welcome a child, and I have the means, and I'm not going backwards towards poverty. So abortion also goes very hand in hand with sterilization. So Roe versus Wade, it was, and also there was other cases, but it's the right to carry or not carry a pregnancy. That is a right. It's a fundamental right. And when a disabled person, we sterilized, there's a lot of cases. I just read an article on the New York Times International 2 weeks ago that in Norway and Sweden, they're still sterilizing disabled women. And that is also that. You see what I like? Because she's disabled, her mother wants to sterilize her because she's not capable of raising a child. But if the society, anyway, do you see what I like? It's very hand in hand. It's reproductive. It's under the umbrella of reproductive rights, and reproductive rights is a right. Mm-hmm. Abortion is healthcare, but especially and that's why I wanted to take the COP financial economic aspect, because if you have another child, you know, especially I see it in New York City, like
Yeah.
schools, let's take schools, for example. Now there's a crisis in public schools. And my feeling is that the government wants to privatize the
Yes.
school system, to make people, so wait a second, now not everyone is allowed to have access to education. So where are we going? Backward to poverty. Education, good college, job,
Yeah.
all of this. The abortion debate is access to abortion is a political tool that's been used by politicians to control populations all over the world, and it shouldn't. It's a right.
Mm. Oh, it's very deep.
Yeah, sorry.
No, no, it's okay. This is a very deep chat cinema podcast. No, I understand completely. I mean, like I said, we could talk about this for a long, long time. Oh, wait.
Yeah, let's talk about something more light.
Well, what are you doing next? A comedy?
Oh yes, I wanted to do a comedy, but well, I have few ideas. Few ideas. There is film that I want to do on a political woman. She's American, and I really want to do that film. I think she deserves a movie. I'm not gonna say who is she. I'm also thinking to maybe do a second part, like a future film using interruption as a first part. Then yeah, like and yeah, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being our guest.
Thank you.